finding support and resistance both here and then bumping the top there, which kind of correlates. There's not a big correlation like back there or anything, but at the same time that Ethereum was forming that, this is Bitcoin now. Bitcoin was bouncing off of its big $50,000 resistance point here. So, they all kind of work together. And so that's why at the same time, Ethereum has been building this kind of big resistance area at the same time in this area. All right, so let me get
hold on before you go on. Is this is kind of how it's buckled over, right? Because it looked like it was just going straight up, right? And then all of a sudden it buckled over, which then gave you your opportunity to make this support and resistance line that we were just talking about. So then what does this blue line represent right there?
All right, so here we have this bit of a trend line here that's been forming, well, way back here, interestingly, and then it seems to have kind of picked up on that again. All right. But so the question is, well, this blue line I drew here before this latest green candle was formed. All right. So I was wondering to myself,
if you like this kind of content, let us know by liking and subscribing, and even send us your comments. The best type of feedback we can get is your personal comment below, whether you loved it, whether you hate it. We love to hear it all.
Is that blue line going to hold? And it did hold. Now, of course, you have this purple line down here, which is support. So, a lot of people might be wondering, on the next bar, the next day, is it going to head down to this purple line? But I'll tell you why I don't think it's going to do that, just speaking in terms of probability, because we've had this multi-month, for like the last 6 months, we've had, and this actually is much more easily demonstrated in the total market chart. It's a little more scattered in Ethereum, but just to give you a rough idea, every 30 days it's been hitting a new low. So if you measure from roughly from low to low, again, it's not quite as clear in the Ethereum chart, but just to give you an idea, if we measure low to low, it's roughly every 30 days. So I'll get you up to speed from this low to right here is 29 days. All right, following that same multi-month pattern going like this, every low has been almost nearly 30 days. All right, so for this to break through this blue line anytime soon, it's going to have to also break this 30-day multi-month pattern, and trends and patterns end all the time. So it can definitely happen, but that's why we talk in terms of probability. So if we want to give credit to that pattern and add some probability points to the idea that it's going to repeat, that means it's probably not going to break through this blue line right here, but that it's going to take 30 days to make a new low, where, it could go that way, or, it could go this way, or it could go this way. I don't know exactly where that next low is going to be, but all I'm saying is that when it does that, it's likely to be here and not here. So I think this blue line is going to hold in the meantime. And since it's generally making this sort of big hump pattern, to me, that means that, it's actually, it's not going to go down from here. And I don't know how much higher. It could be stuck in this range below the purple one, or it could break out and come down later. But either way, I think this blue line is going to hold for now. And
because you're saying we're about 10 days into this pattern right now, so about 1/3 of the way in. It will go, if history repeats itself, then we should see an upward price, not a more likely than a downward price. Is it going to the moon? We can't say that, but based on, it's kind of interesting, because if you follow your patterns prior to see all of a sudden it take off from this low where it was down at 17 something and just shoot up over to over 3,000. I don't think your pattern would have discovered that, but it would have said it's going up over the next 30 days and it would have been correct. It just didn't know how high it was going to go. So I think most of us are surprised by how much it went up. But the next one will probably not be as high as that. But what you're saying is that it's more probable that it will go up based on what I'm
Well,
seeing.
yeah, and also, I mean, it was useful for I bought a little bit right here at this line based on that. I mean, now it has already come up a little bit. I mean, it's a couple $100, so it's not a big deal. But that was what I used to determine that it was likely a good buy at that point, and that it wasn't going to be breaking that blue trend line just yet. Again, it's not financial advice, of course. Anything can happen. The trends can break their pattern, but for now, that's all holding steady. That is
Yeah.
all holding steady. Yeah.
No, it's really interesting, and I think if you're looking to get into Ethereum, now might be a good time based on just the data that's presented, and I'm glad you did. Again, like you mentioned, this isn't financial advice. We're not making any predictions here. We're just saying this is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what
One
it
more
looks
thing
where the probabilities lie.
that's right. And one more thing I can point out as far as those probabilities, and this isn't a lot to go off of, but just since it broke above this 29, $3,000 level, it's not quite 3,000, but we'll just call it 3,000 to make it easy. Since it broke above that and then retraced down to it and made that low, it was 11 days to make this pattern.
Mhm.
Right? And this doesn't have a lot of historical data to go off of, but let's say that I wanted to buy Ethereum. So let's assume that the speed of the market continues to be the same, that there's nothing that changes it real big in the next couple of days. Either way, if this short-term pattern repeats, it means that it could have another couple of days to kind of like before anything really big is going to happen. And maybe if I was looking to buy more, I'm at this point thinking that it might be coming back down to this line. Not a lot of activity happen. Maybe floating a little bit back down to this line over the next couple days, and still get another chance if someone like me wanted to get more at that price. That's if it continues and does this 11-day little pattern again, which it's not a lot of historical data to go off of, but it's something.
All right, one last question before we wrap up then. You buying it at, roughly 3,200, I think is around the price, maybe 3,100.
Yeah, about 31. Yeah.
So are you thinking about holding on to this? Are you adding this to your collection, or is this just a simple in out type of trade? Like if it goes up 500 or $1,000, you're out. What are your thoughts at buying it at this level?
Well, I'm definitely long-term bullish. So, and because we really don't know this 29 $3,000 level could hold, and like you know it of course could go down, but even if it went down more, I'm still long-term bullish. So either it goes from here and I get a good price, or even if it goes down, I'm not selling, I'm probably buying more,
Well,
and I'm going to
I think it's a really good point to know that we're not here to buy the absolute tops and the absolute bottoms. We're here to get in at value and then sell at a value or hold, if you really think that this is, the long-term strategy. But but yeah, okay, I was just curious about that, and I agree with you. It could go down. We might be able to get it cheaper, but based on what the charts are telling you, it's a good time to buy at today's price.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. That's a lot of chart information all at once. I think there was a lot going on there, but I think I see your 30-day pattern. I see an 11-day pattern. I see the trend going up. So I see some very basic things from my perspective, but it all makes sense to me. So hopefully it makes sense to the audience and the folks that are watching today.